To dive into the thrilling world of iOS app development, we are going to explore Xcode, Apple's integrated development environment, often called IDE. Now, this powerful tool isn't just where you write code, it's really where creativity meets functionality. Today, we're going to guide you through downloading, installing, and familiarizing yourself with the Xcode interface. And guess what? We'll even create your very first app. So buckle up, the journey has just begun.
All right, let's dive in and get Xcode set up on your Mac. First things first, head over to the Mac App Store. Just type in Xcode in the search bar and hit that download button. It might take a few minutes, so why not grab a snack or, I don't know, check your social media while you wait.
Once it's downloaded, go ahead and follow the installation prompts. Should be pretty straightforward. Then open up Xcode and let's get familiar with its user interface. You'll see this welcome window pop up, giving you options to create a new project, open an existing one, or dive into some tutorials. Now, navigating this user interface can seem a bit overwhelming at first, but no worries, we'll break it down together. On the left sidebar, that's where you'll find the Project Navigator, which shows all your files and resources. The editor area is in the middle, where most of your coding magic is going to happen. And on the right side, you have the Utilities area. This is your go-to spot for quick access to properties and controls that will help you manage your project effectively. There we go. Let's get started.
The figure displays a bar chart titled Time Required for Key Steps in iOS Development with Xcode that quantifies in minutes the typical duration for 5 sequential tasks. Download Xcode, which takes about 5 minutes, install Xcode, around 10 minutes, create project, just 3 minutes, run in simulator, 7 minutes, and finally run on device, taking a bit longer at 12 minutes. From these values, we can spot some clear patterns. Creating a new project is definitely the quickest task, clocking in at just 3 minutes. While preparing and testing on a real device, well, that's where things get a bit more demanding at 12 minutes. Now, installation and device deployment really stand out as the two primary time sinks. Installation takes about 10 minutes, which is roughly double the time it takes to download, sitting at just 5 minutes. And running on a physical device takes noticeably longer, 12 minutes, compared to the simulator, which is only 7 minutes. These differences bring some practical planning considerations to mind. You'll want to allocate extra time for that initial setup and for doing your device testing, definitely. And you can expect those iterative development cycles to be significantly influenced by deployment and verification on actual hardware. So when you're estimating your development sessions, make sure to budget a modest amount of time for project setup, moderate time for the simulator-based checks, and the most time for installing tools and validating behavior on real devices.
Now, let's get our hands dirty and create our first iOS app. Click on Create a New Xcode Project from the Welcome window. A new window will pop up with various app templates to choose from. For simplicity, let's select the app template under the iOS section. Click Next and fill out the necessary fields like product name, team, organization name, and organization identifier. Be sure to choose Swift as your programming language and Storyboard for your user interface. Now click Next, choose a location to save your project, and click Create. Voila, your very first iOS project is ready. To give your app a little personality, let's add a simple user interface. Open the main.storyboard file and you'll see an empty view controller. Let's drag a label from the object library, yeah, that's the panel on the right, onto the view controller. You can double-click the label to edit it. Let's say we'll put Hello World in there. Feel free to adjust the font size and color in the Attributes Inspector. And voila, you've just added some flavor to your app.
Now, let's see how we can implement changes to our label when the view first loads. In the viewDidLoad method, which is called after the view has been loaded into memory, we'll begin by invoking the superclass's implementation with super.viewDidLoad. This ensures that the parent class performs any necessary initial setup before we apply our customizations. Next, we'll directly access our greeting label outlet that we created earlier and set its text property to Welcome to iOS Development. This is where the magic happens. The text displayed in the label on the screen will now update dynamically to reflect this new message, instead of just the familiar Hello World.
By modifying the label in this method, we guarantee that the new greeting will appear as soon as the view presents itself to the user, effectively enhancing the interaction and user experience right from the start. Feel free to customize the text further to suit your app's theme. This is an excellent opportunity to get creative and bring your own personal touch to your iOS application.
Let's take a moment to run our app in the simulator. You can do this by selecting the simulated device from the drop-down menu at the top of the Xcode window. You'll find options like the iPhone 14, iPhone SE, and a whole bunch of others. Once you've made your choice, go ahead and click that play button. Watch as the magical world of your creation springs to life in the simulator. It should display your label along with your custom message. Now, keep in mind that testing in the simulator is super handy for quick checks. But you might really want to see how your app performs on a real device. To do that, you'll need to connect your iOS device to your Mac via USB. Just make sure you've enabled developer mode on your device first. Once you've got that set up and connected, it'll pop up in the device dropdown in Xcode. Just select it and run the app again. This time, you're testing it live.
Next, we will implement the action method that responds to the button press. This method is marked with the @action keyword, which connects it to the button we created in the storyboard, allowing it to respond to user interactions. The method takes a parameter, _sender ubutton, which represents the button that triggered the action. Now, let's see how we change the label's text within this method. Inside the body of change greeting, we access our previously created label outlet, greeting label, and set its text property to you press the button. This action updates the interface dynamically whenever the button is tapped, providing immediate feedback to the user. By doing this, we effectively link user input to a visual response in the app. Aha! It demonstrates the fundamental concept of event handling in iOS development, enabling you to create an interactive user experience. As a result, when you run the app and press the button, you'll witness the label's text change, reinforcing the idea of how actions can control the app's behavior based on user engagement.
At this point, you're not just a spectator, you're an iOS developer. But let's not stop here. Oh no, we can add even more functionality to our app by introducing navigation. For instance, we can create a new screen that details the subjects you've learned about iOS development. This can be done by creating a new view controller along with a navigation controller. To start, drag another view controller from the object library onto your storyboard. Now, we need a way to navigate to this new screen, right? First, we'll embed our initial view controller with a navigation controller. So, select your initial view controller, then head over to the menu and click Editor, then Embed In, and select Navigation Controller. This action will create a new controller connected to the original one. Next, let's create a button on your original screen that will take us to this new screen. Control-drag from the button to the new view controller in the storyboard, and when you let go, select Show to create a segue. With the segue established, selecting this button will now take you right to your new screen. How cool is that?
Now, let's implement the Detail View Controller class, which will be used to display detailed information. This class inherits from UI View Controller, which is a fundamental building block of iOS apps. Here, we define a variable named detailMessage of type string?, which is optional, and will hold the information passed from the previous view controller. Next, we override the viewDidLoad method. This is where we can perform additional setup after loading the view. It's an ideal spot to set the label's text based on the detailMessage variable. While the actual implementation for updating the label is left blank in this snippet, it's your chance to customize how this data is presented to the user. Now, let's see how we can pass data between view controllers using the prepareForSender method in the original view controller. In this method, we check if the segue is the one we expect by matching its identifier. If it is, we cast the destination view controller to detail view controller. This allows us to access the detail message property directly, where we can assign it data from the first screen, creating a seamless flow of information in your app's navigation.
As we wrap up,
Always remember that app development is a continuous learning journey. Like, seriously. Explore building different interfaces, implementing various features, and most importantly, don't hesitate to troubleshoot. Be curious, persistent, and creative. Xcode offers a plethora of resources, such as documentation, forums, and tutorials to help guide you along the way. And oh, keep in mind the importance of testing your app regularly, both on simulators and real devices, to ensure that everything functions as it should and performs smoothly. And don't overlook user feedback. It can be truly invaluable. As you continue coding, remember that every great app you use today started out as a simple idea when someone turned on Xcode for the very first time. So with that, you now have a solid foundation in Xcode and iOS app development. Get out there and start building something amazing. Happy coding!